Hi, I'm Kitty. So as you all know, I am a new YouTuber and I just love to be weird. So if you love to be weird, you should love me. Because I get really off topic and start talking about turtles. So, well, anyway, I have a major liking on a YouTuber also known as VeeOneEye. Also, his name is Jason, and I think he's really cute, and I like his big blonde hair. So laugh at me all you want. Okay, bye.